Is it actually possible to get last place in a marathon? Dead last. I decided to run the Austin Marathon with over 4,000 people and try to get last. For the first mile, I'm gonna be running with Isaiah here, give myself a crazy lead, and then we're gonna drop like a rock. And instantly, the race was beginning. Like, here we go. The marathon is off, and I know it's gonna be a deadly 26 miles ahead of me. We're in the top 100 right now, but we're gonna be in the back in the thousands by the end. So I run the first mile with Isaiah at a 6:40 just to make it a little bit harder to actually get last place. And then at mile 1, I start walking. Now is when the real race begins. Peeled out to the side. Everyone's passing me. Feels so weird to be walking at mile 1. Since I ran the first mile so fast, everyone is streaming by me. This is gonna be the easiest part of the race since everyone is still running fast and it's super simple to pass me. Moving back super nicely right now. Quite literally thousands of people are already passing me and I'm quickly dropping places in this marathon. This is really starting to get overwhelming how many people are in this race. I mean, I've been walking for like 15 minutes now and people are still just streaming by. Thousands of people have passed me and there's no end in sight. I'm a little bit nervous that this might low-key be harder than I anticipated. It's important to note that a lot of these runners are doing the half marathon instead of the full marathon. But I already have my first sign of encouragement. Guys, let's go. First walkers have passed. It's a massive sign that I'm starting to get towards the back now. Still 99% of people are running, but it's a sign we're moving back and that's what we need. I'm already at mile 3, but hordes of people are still around me. Oh my god. It's like 100 people waiting for a porta potty right now. And all of these people are gonna have to then pass me again. This is really starting to look difficult. The biggest problem was the sheer amount of people in this race. Just look at how many people were passing me. It seems good, but there's still numerous people behind me. We're about an hour into this race now, 1 whole hour, and this is what it looks like. I don't know at what point walkers are gonna catch me because I'm walking pretty slow. I'm averaging about 16-minute miles. So there is one rule to this challenge, and it's that I cannot stop moving. I must always be going forward. This is so I don't just run and then stop for 3 hours right before the finish line and then finish. Like, I always have to be moving forward, which makes it a little bit harder. I wanted to just stop and let people pass me, but as I hit mile 5 and mile 6, let me tell you about the biggest twist in this challenge. It feels like a good time to mention the 7-hour cutoff. So as with every marathon, there's a time cutoff that you have to finish by or else you're DNFing. The course closes down, and that makes it critical to make sure I finish at like 6:59 and I'm the last person across before the 7-hour cutoff. If I go over 7, DNF, course closes, my time isn't registered, I'm put down as a DNF. And the time to run a 7-hour marathon is like 16-minute miles. It's like a very brisk walk, but the 7-hour mark is crucial to this whole thing playing out and me getting last. I cannot be over 7 hours. My biggest fear was finishing over 7 hours because I was letting people pass me. If that happened, I would most likely be DQ'd and the whole challenge would be a waste. As I hit mile 8 and mile 9, I've let tons of people pass and I'm getting towards the back of this race. So I've been slowly but steadily getting past over the last few miles. I'm probably in the bottom 10% here. The hardest people to pass are going to be the last 10% because they're moving the slowest, and I still have to stay under the 7-hour pace. So it's about to get interesting very soon, and we are already at mile 10. So I've done this video before for a 5K. Long story short, I basically got third to last, and I was kind of mad about it because I worked so hard to get last. Basically what happened was there's 2 people who were just way back. I didn't even see them. And the key for this race is for that to not happen again. I want to have zero doubt in my mind I am in last place when I cross the finish line. This was a huge redemption arc for me, and I was devoted to losing. losing.
The marathon too? Oh,
Yeah, I'm trying to get last.
You're gonna have some competition, buddy.
Coming up here is one of the most important parts of the race, the half marathon turnoff. All the half runners are going to separate from the marathon, making it very obvious who is left that I need to lose to. This is an absolutely huge moment in the race. The half marathon just split off to go finish, and you can tell the field behind me is gone. So now it's gonna be so much more easy to tell exactly who is in this race and who needs to pass me. All of a sudden, it is just empty. A few people filtered by me as I approached the half marathon mark, and that's when I met the legend Steve.
This is my 824th one of these.
You're joking.
I've done all the states 7 times, all the continents.
Wait, have you done Antarctica?
Yeah.
What? I decided to ask Steve about what to do about the 7-hour cutoff. So if I come through in like 7:30, you think it's okay?
I think that's gonna be late.
But like 7:15 maybe?
7:15 probably be okay, but the last person through was probably 7:20.
How many people do you think are behind us right now?
I don't look back, there's nobody back there I want to catch.
Steve gave me some good insight that maybe the 7-hour rule wasn't actually that strict. So we went through the half in 3 hours and 28 minutes, which puts us on pace to run a 6:56 marathon, which sounds ideal. But I was just talking to Steve. Dude has been in every single one of the Austin marathons, and he says usually they don't cut you off at 7. Usually they have a little bit of leeway, which makes things tough. Problem is, if I go under 7 and there's people who they don't cut off and end up running like 7:15, 7:20, then I'm kind of screwed. But on the other hand, if I run 7:15 and then get cut off and don't finish, it's an instant L. I wasn't sure if I should stay on pace for 7 hours or just try and let everyone pass me. I'm moving up nicely, but before some more people pass, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Manta Sleep. Let me tell you, after finishing this marathon, I'm gonna be relying on my improved sleep from Manta. Manta has the best sleep mask in the game, providing 100% blackout and complete side sleep comfort. For running, sleep is so essential, and you need to make sure that you're getting the highest quality sleep possible. With Manta Sleep Mask, there's no pressures on your eyes and no light reaches you at all. The sleep mask provides the highest comfort possible and adjusts perfectly to fit your head. You can check out Manta Sleep via the link in the description and use code Tyler to get 10% off your order. All right, and now I need to start letting some more people pass. So my average pace has climbed above 16 minutes, which is concerning because that's technically the cutoff pace. We're past the 4-hour mark now, so we're kind of getting to the end game. And yet there were still tons of people behind me. There's probably about 10 people behind me that I can see. What do I do? That's the question. Like, do I drop all the way back or do I keep going to hit the cutoff? I don't know. I hit mile 16 as people slowly passed me, moving me back even further. And then I met Boz, who was juggling the whole marathon. I'm trying to get last place.
You gotta do the fine balance of getting last place while not getting booted, right?
That's the key, right? So the cutoff's 7 hours technically.
But they might let people who are 7:02, they might let them finish. You got 16 people behind you. Some of those people are gonna DNF. You have a harder challenge than I do, finishing last.
So Boz was the second person to tell me that the 7-hour cutoff rule wasn't actually that strict. I looked at the results from last year and I saw a few people did finish over 7 hours. So I decided to slow my pace a bit since I could always run the last few miles to break 7 if needed. 5 to go. Still got a few people behind me. I'm hoping they catch me here. Are you the end bike?
Yes.
How many are back there?
Probably about 20.
20? I don't know how there's 20 people behind me. I really can only see 2 in the immediate vicinity, which means there's like people like miles behind. So what am I supposed to do? I let the 2 people I saw pass me, but it was looking deserted. There is quite literally nobody behind me. From everyone I've been talking to, it sounds like there's definitely some people behind. This is gonna get interesting. This is gonna get very interesting at the end here. I still wasn't sure about the 7-hour rule, but then I ran into Jason. Should I sit on the 7-hour mark or do I just let all these people pass me?
Let them pass you. It's more like 7:30. There is a sweeper car that if you're behind it, they're gonna kick you off. If you're in front of it, you're good.
Thank you for the insight.
Works,
this is big. I think that's the game plan now. Walk as slow as humanly possible, allow every single person to pass me, and then eventually get this sweeper car to come up behind me. I feel for the first time some level of confidence. I'm trusting Jason with basically this entire video and this whole quest. And I'm just gonna begin walking extremely slow and just wait for the sweeper car to come up on me. I hit mile 23 and I was feeling good about the plan. If the sweeper car wanted me to DNF, I could always just run to avoid the DNF. I just talked to a cop. He said that the last place person is about 10 minutes behind me. I'm coming up on mile 24, so I somehow have to lose 10 minutes in the last 2 miles. With 2 miles to go, I still had no clue how many people were behind, but the sweeper van was confirmed.
See that truck right there? That's like the end mark.
Yeah, just wait for the white van.
And right there, my saving grace, the sweeper van had arrived. The van, I need basically to catch me, and then I just stay ahead of it. We got about 1.5 miles. I really need to start walking slow so the van can catch up, because I have to remember that the van is going extremely slow. One more person passed me and I'd officially reached the 7-hour mark. Basically 7 hours on the clock. I technically should be finishing right now. And if I stuck to the earlier plan, I would be finishing right now, not in last. All of a sudden, a bunch of people were passing me as I reached mile 25 and the sweeper van was getting awfully close. There might be like 3 or 4 people behind me, but my God, the cutoff's like 200 meters behind me. It was right there, and only a few remaining people stood between me and a glorious last place finish. There's the van, the fabled van. That's the end of the race right there. That is last place right there. So I let these 2 people pass me and then came to my arch nemesis, the last place person in this marathon. What's your name?
Priya.
Tyler, good to meet you. And suddenly, I was in last. Guys, I'm in last place. Priya was in last place, and now I am in last place for this entire marathon. Mile 26, we finally got into last place. I think this is it. I think we are gonna do this. I'm in last place out of thousands in this marathon. Making sure the van stayed behind me and Priya stayed in front of me, I was confident this was my moment. Oh, there's the finish line. Oh my gosh. We failed at the 5K, but will we fail at the marathon? Absolutely not. The clock says 7:28. I'm gonna jog across